Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Lighting Your Sunshine, where we like to shine a light within and empower ourselves. So, good morning. Everyone's still sleeping and I drank coffee and I quit drinking coffee, but today I felt like it. So I have all the energy in the world. So I want to get the readings out now in case that energy kind of crashes and dwindles. So welcome to my table. Pull up a seat. And what are we going to use? We're going to try I Ching. I love this deck. I don't have them memorized, so I will have to use the book. But every time I use it, I'm like, ooh, I feel like this one is the most pure and simple, honest and truthful deck ever. And like, let's say you're in a saucy mood or something, you can't really use it to like pump up your ego ever, right? Because it's more of like, it's almost like the Tao, going with the flow, that kind of thing. But no insights, just good morning. Let's pull a message. Oh, and then we had another deck, which was the Light Seers Tarot. Any other ones want to come out today? That one and that one. Okay, and then that one. Woo. 3 and 3. Keep it short and sweet. Okay. I love coffee, but I always have to take breaks from it. But today I just wanted it. I just wanted it. So maybe let's start off with what I know. Okay. So we have the 6 of Pentacles with 29. I believe it is water and water. Let's check the back here. We've got water over water. Yay, I'm learning. So we got water over water with 6 of Pentacles, which has to do with giving and receiving. When I think of water over water, it's like a very, very overflowing vessel. But what does it say? Above water, below water, the abysmal. Water upon water, danger follows danger. Water flows until it meets an obstacle or is contained. Here, water is met only with more water, and it is essential, and in its essential abysmal nature, it's compounded. It is crucial that one stays true to oneself when challenging circumstances follow each other. A time of testing proves the soul's worth. Sincerity brings success in the end. And that success is going to be this 6 of Pentacles. So it keeps showing like a big cube, right? You're going to, like a bathtub, you're going to fill up a bathtub. But if that bathtub's full and then more water comes, like that's going to be bad times. There could be a flood, there's just no room to contain it all. And so, as that one said, stay true to yourself. That's so hard. That's so hard when you're in those circumstances because you really want to control things, right? You want to take charge and do things. But maybe that is staying true to yourself. Oh, snap. Now we're going into the next one. We got King of Wands, and there's a lion there. Because I was like, well, maybe you're meant to be a leader. Maybe you're meant to stand up and take charge and do action. Being true to yourself. Rather than covering your eyes and be like, nothing is happening. It doesn't happen. La, 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 la. That flood's going to overpour. It's going to rot the floorboards. It's going to cause mold. It's going to cause all these things that you don't want. And so when you take charge, it said you'll be successful. So that's like the past energy. You've been kind of in something that just is not good times, not good vibes. And it was really a test for you to stand into your true character. Will you cower like the lion, the cowardly lion in The Wizard of Oz? No, because you're a leader. We got King of Wands energy because this is current energy. And as that said, if you follow your path, you'll be successful. So in the current energy, we got King of Wands. He's fiery, he's feisty, fire and water, right? You're like, I'm not gonna let this water, all this emotions, poo-poo on my parade. And I can't help but look at here. There's like a little crown of fire. Kingdom, they're showing me kingdom, sovereignty, everything outside of you was chaotic. It was abysmal. It was such a bleak circumstance. People wanted you to feel bleak. People wanted you to be sad and feel desperate and despair, but you can't kill that fire within yourself. There's a fire, a flame in your heart that will always grow and thrive and survive. And so as long as you nurture it and follow your path and your guidance, you can't put that out. So now we're getting this King of Wands energy, and this King of Wands is very passionate, very fiery. So the one to go with that, we have 9. Let me try and figure out what it is. So I want to say heaven. So there's something over heaven. Okay, let me guess first. I want to say thunder over, wind over heaven. No, wait. Yeah, there is wind. It is wind, and it is heaven. I'm getting so good at this. I took a break from it. So that's why I don't pull these on camera, because I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know these things. My friends are so smart, and they kind of know it, and they kind of taught me some things about it. But yeah, they go really into depth in it. But I just play with these like as cards, but there's so much to it, and I highly respect this, and I know I'm still learning. And these have been the best cards that I've used. They nurture the soul so much. So anyways, I'm like fangirling over the I Ching right now. Okay, so we've got wind over heaven and card number 9. But before I read it, I do want to find it. I think wind over heaven, I think heaven being like spirit, and wind would be like rising above. Let's see what it actually says. The taming power of the small, above wind, below heaven. And that's kind of thing, like you're supposed to be an abysmal, you're supposed to feel dull and dreary, and you're supposed to be the cowardly lion. But here you step into that, and now you've got crowned, you've got sovereignty. You're not going to play small, because you're a leader. A leader does not play small. You're supposed to direct, guide, and influence by leading by example, not by going and letting people push you around and doing what they think you should do, because that's not part of your soul. It's not your path. So it says, wind blows through heaven. Nothing substantial can be accomplished. The taming power of the small. The wind blows through heaven. Nothing substantial can be accomplished. All right, let's actually read. There is a rapid movement in the sky as clouds blow swiftly and change shape, but no rain will fall. In times of chaotic motion, there is no point in striving for completion. Through small actions, subtle persuasion, and observation, circumstances can be prepared for future success. Gentleness will turn to strength in its proper time. So, especially with this one, the King of Wands energy. King of Wands can be very passionate, very fiery, but when I look at the fire, it's a tiny crown. It's not over, right? In the other one, there's so much water and it's chaotic mess that not everything's being burnt down here. Especially with like the wind in heaven, that's a lot of air and ether energy. Air can blow with the fire and cause great destruction. But if a fire is being, especially with all this water in this situation, it seemed to be so abysmal that it almost put out your fire. And almost put out your fire. And so what does wind do? It kind of stokes it, kind of brings it back to life. So I feel maybe there was a part where you wanted to cower, you wanted to just not deal with things. This is too much, I can't do it, but you can do it. And I see that stoking, coming back to life. They said 3 breaths. I don't know about what 3 breaths mean. Maybe it will come out. But that's where I also see not going in and like yelling and like this is what you do. This is what leaders do. Leaders don't teach this way. But leaders also aren't passive pushovers who don't think for themselves. So you can enforce rules and subtle changes in actions one step at a time, right? You can stand up when you feel called to, and you know what? Not everything is your fight to fight, but you'll know which ones to speak up for. Yeah. So then we have another king, but it's in reverse. So we got the King of Cups. And so King of Cups is like, okay. So in this one, there's so much water. There's so much water, so much emotions. Like, things are so unstable in whatever this environment is. And so now we've got the King of Wands needing to step into their power, into their fire. Needs to be confident and courageous, but not overpowering and obnoxious. Needing to find that fine line. Because in the upright, you think you want that King of Cups kind of energy. But there's way too much energy and emotions. So there's a need to tame the emotions. I see the fire balancing the emotions. And in most times, to come with a loving heart would be the best thing to do. But this is in reverse. You need to take your heart and emotions out of this, especially with the crown. The crown is not thinking emotions. This is not like, I need everyone to be my friend. If I stand up for what I believe in, they won't be my friend. Those aren't your friends then. They would respect you for being authentic and truthful and empowered. That's your true tribe and community. And so it seems like if you can't stand up and do those things, then you're getting taken advantage of. And there's a need to reflect. But let's see what the actual card is. Okay, so straight up, just looking at it, there's a big fish there. And there's a fish on this one. There's something fishy. When it comes to emotions, there's a ship sailing away. But let's see here. We have no water, surprisingly. You would have thought that this was water. What is it? Fire? My brain can't remember what these are. I want to say it's either thunder, something over thunder, and fire over thunder. Let's see. That picture doesn't match up. Okay. So it is fire, and then it is thunder. I'm so happy. I guessed everyone on camera right. Makes me feel so, I don't know what I feel. So it's called Biting Through. Above fire, below thunder. Thunder and lightning overcome obstructions. So before I even read that, I'm like, overcomes, I see like fire and lightning coming, like almost like Zeus. I was like, enough. And then, so I see that bathtub overflowing and overflowing. And it seems like, I don't know, they show like a pipe or something that just, it can't be turned off. And so that lightning bolt, that fire, it comes and zaps it and like seals it and melts the metal and stops the flow. But let's actually read what it says. Thunder and lightning overcome obstructions. When an undertaking that is making good progress meets an obstacle, one must bite through with vigorous determination. Tentative or timid efforts will not serve. Thunder frightens and lightning illuminates. In the same way, the just application of laws and penalties will deter those who would obstruct the endeavor. I love justice. I think rules are meant to be broken, but here's the thing. I think you need to enforce the rules. You need to embody those rules. You need to live those rules and understand the rules. And let's say sometimes rules were made in the past that shouldn't have been made, then you can push the boundaries of those rules. Maybe you can bring change from the inside. But if you're outside and you're like, I don't like rules, and then just not follow them, then it's gonna be a chaotic mess. because those rules were actually there to protect the all, everyone. And so sometimes rules can, some people, like, it's hard to make everyone happy, but in this one it's like being timid. There's rules and someone is not enforcing them, and so now they're timid, and nobody likes that, right? That's a people pleaser. We need a leader, not a people pleaser in this story, because things are going to overflow, they're going to rot out, it's going to be moldy, it's going to cause destruction, the floor and foundation is going to fall underneath. It's actually in that process right now, and so there is a need to, I'm hearing, shape the fuck up. Oh, there's that sailboat sailing away. It's time to shape up or ship out. If you're not the one who's going to be the leader to do this, if you're not going to follow your soul's mission, if you are going to be a perpetual people pleaser, then we need someone else. Someone else needs to come in, because there is destruction happening here. And this person's like, well, I don't want to be mean. And it's like, we're not being mean when you learn about rules and justice, and it's providing a safe and inclusive environment for everyone. And if things aren't safe, there needs to be a leader. I want to read that one more time. What was it? 21. I try to read like the Chinese part, but oh frig, it's so funny. There's like this meme I sent to my friend, because I worked at a Chinese medicine school, and so most Asians, they have like their Asian name, their real name, but because us foreigner people to them cannot pronounce the same symbols, like what does XIO even sound like? It's like sh or something. And so in it, they get a resume that they're trying to interview, and they're trying to say their name, and she's like, oh no, did I write it in Chinese? They're like, no, it's written in English. She's like, oh, you can't spell, you can't read? And they're like, no, I just don't know how to pronounce this. And they're like, okay, fine, you can call me Jane. And they're like, yeah, but that's not your name. And she's like, it's okay, I'll answer to it. Yeah, but you can't be Jane. Yes? And they're like, no, your name's not Jane, we already have a Jane. Okay, you can call me Shirley. And they're like, you're not Shirley either, we already got Shirley in the office. And they're like, all right, what about Sarah? And they're like, again, no. And they're like, okay, what about, and then they changed it to like something like Shaniqua. And they're like, you're not a Shaniqua. She's like, you don't know me. And they're like, and they're like, okay, what about, we'll say Crystal. And they're like, you can't call yourself Crystal, that's my mom's name. And she's like, you didn't call your mom Mom? And they're like, no. And then he's like, okay, then you can call me Mom. And so I don't know why that like rant kind of came on, but I guess it's because I'm not trying to actually read the Chinese names of it. And I used to do all the ordering for the Chinese herbs, and like sometimes they would actually come in Chinese, and that was very hard, but I always had help. But even like the English names of it, like it was hard for me to pronounce. And so I don't know, I just felt like sharing that story with you. That meme was so funny. I sent it to my friend because actually I was on my list in life, and I was like, have you ever met, because I just feel like times have changed. Back in the day they had such like Eleanor and like all these like really classic names. And then so Shirley seemed to be one, and I was like, my whole like one of my like life goals, I have these like little things that are kind of like, ooh, like a bucket list of like things I just wanted to see or witness. And I was like, I always wanted to meet a young Shirley. I never met a Shirley in my life who had like Golden Girls hair, like permed in curls. And I actually met a young Shirley, but she was Asian and she got to choose that name. So I'm still kind of on my list in life, like I'm gonna meet a young Shirley one day, like, right? Shirley Temple, curly hair, but young. So I'm totally ranting and going off things, but I love these cards. I love my friends. They're so smart. There's something just, yeah. So let's just read again. Wrong one. When the undertaking that is making good progress meets an obstacle, maybe you were in your power, your leader role, but then this obstacle came and you're like, oh, I can't deal with it. And it's like, you're not supposed to come in and just yell and do all these things. You're supposed to come with, like, as it said, subtle. Only call out the things that you know that you can fix, that you know are wrong. I think that's it in this story. You see things that are wrong and you're not stepping into your power. And because of that, a chaotic mess and water, and everyone thinks, love and emotions and these things are so good. But these love and emotions have overtaken and it's turned stagnant and now it's toxic. This water, you can't drink, you can't swim in, it's useless. It's destructive, it's harming, it's not safe. So, let's read again. When the undertaking that is making good progress meets an obstacle, one must bite through. You have to do things you don't want to do, with vigorous determination. Tentative or timid efforts will not serve. Thunder frightens and lightning illuminates. In the same way, the just application of laws and penalties will deter those who would obstruct the endeavor. So guess what? Those who are creating that flood, that chaos, all that stagnancy and things, rules weren't implicated in the past. And because they're like, oh, rules don't apply, then it became outlaws, right? Outlaws are now, they're like, we do what we want. And I'm just seeing like Westwood now. That was a pretty good show. But yeah. I'm seeing Al Scherzinger in that one, and he had that balance. I feel like in a world of outlaws, you have to kind of see the bigger picture. It comes back to rules and things. Do you really want it to be that chaotic where rules don't apply to people? You already let them walk over you once, twice, 3 times I heard, and now it's going to be hard to get your power back. But if you keep letting it go, again, you have to ship up or ship out. Shape up or ship out, they're saying. Because there needs to be law and there needs to be a leader. Is that you? Or is that someone else? Woo. Anyways, so with that, we'll leave it there. I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you next time. Bye, guys.